Hi kids! Welcome to All About John Deere Part 2. I'm Kevin. If you love John Deere, stay right here because you're going to love this show. We'll show you the fall harvest. You'll see STS combines, John Deere dozers, and John Deere Lindeman crawler tractors. We'll visit the two-cylinder expo, where you'll see lots of Johnny Poppers. We'll check in with Otto, plus lots more, including new songs by my pal, James Coffey. So let's get started. As always, we open with the song.
Everyone knows that yellow and green. Watch 'em run smart, run fast, run lean. Helping us live the American dream, never resting till the job is done. Plowing a field or hauling stone, no better machines in the world are known. On the farm, at work, at home, the very best ton for ton. John Deere made a better plow. John Deere, name that's famous now. John Deere, I'll tell you how. It's all about John Deere. John Deere, sing it strong and loud. John Deere stands out from the crowd. John Deere makes America proud. It's all about John Deere. Quality and trust no one can deny. Name as American as apple pie. Celebrated as the 4th of July for over 100 years. Changing the course of history, still #1 in the industry. Far and wide, everybody agrees, nothing runs like a Deere. John Deere made a better plow. John Deere, name that's famous now. John Deere, I'll tell you how. It's all about John Deere. John Deere, sing it strong and loud. John Deere stands out from the crowd. John Deere makes America proud. It's all about John Deere.
Harvest time is my favorite time of year. It starts to get cold and the leaves change from green to many different colors. Mostly red, gold, maroon, orange, and brown. To harvest means to gather the crops. Harvesting usually starts after the first frost. The frost stops the crop's growth and allows the crop to dry. The crop must be dry before it is taken to market. In the late 1800s, they used thrashing machines. These were noisy, dangerous machines with lots of exposed moving parts. They were powered by a pulley and a belt from a steam engine. Harvest time was no fun in those days. Today, farmers use combines to harvest the crop. Combines are called combines because they combine the work of several machines. First, there is a power unit that powers the machine. Then there's the picker unit, the shelling unit, the separator unit, a storage bin, and a powered auger that transfers the crop from the grain bin on the combine to a grain cart or truck. Combines can harvest many different types of crops, from the smallest, grass seed, to the largest, corn. Combines also harvest soybeans, wheat, oats, rice barley, canola, sunflower, and just about any seed that grows. Combines come equipped with a cutting platform for crops like wheat or a corn head for corn. The cutting platform comes in widths from 12 to 36 feet. Corn heads come in 4-row to 12-row sizes. These new John Deere combines go about 5 or 6 miles per hour. Stan is the operator today, and he sits in a clean, air-conditioned cab with a CD player and a plush seat. In late fall, after all the crops have been harvested, the farmer goes over his fields with a mulch tiller. A mulch tiller is a combination chisel plow and disc harrow. The mulch tiller opens the soil so it will absorb the rain, corn stalks, husks, and other stuff left behind by the combine. All of this residue soaks into the soil, making the soil richer for next year's crop. In part 1, we introduced you to Bob DeVries of St. Joseph, Michigan. That was back in July, when Bob was cultivating his pumpkin patch with a John Deere 730 diesel. Back then, the pumpkins looked like this. Now it's late September, and the pumpkins are full grown. Time to harvest the pumpkins and get them ready for Halloween. Did you ever hear of a pumpkin harvester? Probably not, because it doesn't exist. The best way to harvest pumpkins is the way Bob does it. He invites his grandkids over and lets them do all the work. The day starts early. The kids gather around the barn, then pile into a wagon for a ride out to the pumpkin patch. That's a John Deere Model M pulling the wagon. John Deere vintage tractors play a big part in the harvest. Chris is operating a newer John Deere 2040 with a forklift attachment. First, you have to snip the pumpkin from its stem and then gather the pumpkins in bunches. When Chris comes by, the kids pick up the pumpkins and place them in the crate. Some pumpkins get pretty big and heavy. Kira is the youngest, but it looks like she's the hardest worker. Bob says he wishes he had Kira's energy. Heck, I wish I had Kira's energy. After the crate is full, Chris picks up the crate and places it on a wagon. Then he picks up an empty crate and returns to the pumpkin patch. Meanwhile, the kids keep picking pumpkins. Time for a break. Everyone gets back on the wagon and heads up to the barn for some cider and donuts. The next step is to clean the pumpkins. First, the pumpkins are soaked in soapy water, and everyone pitches in to help wipe the dirt off. After the pumpkins dry, they are taken out to the front yard and sorted according to size. The front yard runs along a busy street. People drive by, see all the fun stuff, and stop. Usually, they buy a pumpkin or some flowers. The Johnny Poppers just keep coming and going, bringing out fresh supplies. The DeVries family all work hard to make their farm a fun place to visit. They set up scary scenes and make a caterpillar out of hay bales. Those are fruit baskets for eyes, and big plastic hoses for legs, and a smiley mouth. Poor witch, She must not have been watching where she was flying. Pumpkin harvest is a busy time of the year for farms all over the country. Lots of city kids come for a visit. There's lots to do. They pick out pumpkins, try to find their way through a corn maze, breathe the nice country air, and just have a fun time.
Come on kids, let's get in the car and go picking pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. It won't be long, it's not that far, till we're picking pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. Feel a chill in the morning air, children laughter everywhere. Hunt from dawn till the setting sun, just looking for that special one. Putting on my walking shoes, picking pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. Hurry up, no time to lose, picking pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. There's one round like an orange sun, or maybe I'll pick that funny one. That one looks like it weighs a ton, it may be just the one. Special time of year to go picking pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. People come from far and near to go picking pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. Pumpkin bread and pumpkin pie, soon a winner will catch my eye. A jack-o'-lantern for Halloween, the biggest you've ever seen. Come on kids, let's get in the car and go picking pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. It won't be long, it's not that far, till we're picking pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. Picking pumpkins in the pumpkin patch.
Otto, you're dumping the wrong truck. What's wrong with you today? Now put that sand back in the truck and hurry up.
Oh no!
When John Deere machines are completed at the factory, both trucks and trains are used to deliver the new machines to customers all over the USA. In the early part of the 20th century, steam locomotives ruled the rails. The tractors, implements, and construction equipment were loaded on flat cars, and off they went to help farmers, engineers, and builders all over the country. You don't see steam locomotives much anymore, but they are sure fun to watch. They're big, they smoke, and I love the sound of a steam whistle. In about 1950, the railroads changed from steam to diesel locomotives, but John Deere equipment was still loaded on flat cars.
Tractors are loaded and secured. Sounds good. Don't forget the stock car before you pull out of the yard.
There were box cars too. They carried parts, tools, extra tires, just about everything needed to keep a John Deere equipment operator happy.
Now here they come, riding down the track with old John Deere sitting on the back, chugging down the line. Nothing looks so fine. There's lots of trucks and tractors aboard, and that's not all. There is much, much more. Over hill and dale, with John Deere riding the rail. There's excavators and plenty of dozers and some graders and some big heavy loaders. They make quite a team with diesel motors and steam. Along the way, together they draw a big crowd, and people wave and give a cheer right out loud. It's a true American tale when John Deere's riding the rail. When John Deere's riding the rail. When John Deere's riding the rail.
Let's talk about John Deere dozers. Dozers are powerful machines that run slowly on crawler tracks. They push dirt and rocks around. They go uphill, downhill, on the sides of hills, anywhere anything needs to be pushed around. Dozers sound like big bullies, but they're nice bullies. They call this site preparation. The dozer is spreading out dirt to make the ground level so they can build a house. When the house is finished, dozers grade the landscape and backfill the dirt around the house. To backfill, you pull the dirt back with the blade rather than push it forward. You want to leave a slight grade so water runs away from the building. Dozers help build roads, bridges, push trees around in the forest, build dams, canals, and work in mines too. Large haul trucks carry up to 40 tons of dirt. That's over 6,000 shovelfuls. This dozer's job is to spread that dirt around and be finished by the time the next haul truck arrives with another 40 tons of dirt. A large dozer holds 150 gallons of fuel, and its top speed is, well, you don't want to talk about top speed when you talk about dozers because dozers are slow. They go about 2 1/2 miles per hour. Heck, I can walk faster than that. Tony, our operator on this dozer, sits in a cool, air-conditioned cab. The controller on his right operates the blade, makes it go up, down, angle right or left, or tilt. The controller on the left makes the dozer go forward, reverse, or turn. To turn the dozer left, Tony slows down or stops the left track, while the right track keeps moving. The dozer goes left. To make the dozer turn on a dime, Tony reverses one track while the other goes forward. This is called counter rotation. Dozers also help fight forest fires. This 650H is equipped with a blade in the front and a fire line plow in the rear. The blade clears a path and the fire line plow digs up the ground. The idea is to keep forest fires from spreading. When the fire reaches the fire line, it burns itself out. The air in the cab is pressurized and filtered, so the operator doesn't even smell the smoke. The main parts of the Dozer are the blade, blade frame, track roller frame, crawler tracks, and cab. If you are a skilled Dozer operator, you can use the Dozer blade for more than pushing dirt. Here we see my good pal Ray lift heavy posts out of the ground just like they were toothpicks. The John Deere Dozer got its start in Yakima, Washington. In the early 1930s, Jesse Lindeman, a John Deere dealer in Yakima, came up with the idea to put track assemblies on John Deere tractors. Turns out it was a good idea. By 1935, Jesse was installing track assemblies on John Deere Model B tractors and selling them to orchard owners around Yakima. The John Deere Lindeman crawler tractor, called the BO, the O stood for orchard, was perfect for the orchards. The BO could climb steep slopes. It wouldn't get stuck in the mud like wheel tractors, and this was important because it rained a lot around Yakima, and it was only 4 feet high, so it would go under the tree branches. It was powerful too. Its 2-cylinder, 4-cycle engine generated 15 to 20 horsepower. About 1,665 Lindeman crawler tractors were produced. It's a good thing collectors like Bill Kettlehut have taken the time and trouble to restore these great old tractors to their original condition. Bill has 4 Lindeman crawler tractors and is working on 2 more. Way to go, Bill! In 1947, John Deere purchased the Lindeman Company and started making their own dozers. But Jesse Lindeman was the guy who put John Deere in the dozer business. So when you see a John Deere dozer today, think of Jesse Lindeman from Yakima, Washington. He's the guy who started it all.
Will you guess right or will you guess wrong? Which animals do and don't belong? Here on the farm have you forgot which belong and which do not? A herd of cows.
Yes, yes.
Some polar bears.
No.
Here on the farm have you forgot which belong and which do not? What about an elephant?
No.
A rooster?
Yes.
Oh, is that so? Here on the farm have you forgot which belong and which do not? But a tiger prancing all about, a gorilla dancing leaves no doubt. A chicken,
Yes.
a tiger,
No.
a bear and an elephant really must go. Here on the farm have you forgot which belong and which do not? Will you guess right or will you guess wrong? Which animals do and don't belong?
Welcome to the 2-Cylinder Expo. People come from all over the country to talk green, visit, and show off their restored John Deere tractors. The 2-Cylinder Expo is held every year in different parts of the country. This expo is in Moline, Illinois, home to John Deere. In addition to seeing all the tractors on display, the folks get to visit the John Deere Pavilion, the John Deere Collectors Center, a flea market where John Deere toys, parts, and other John Deere items are for sale, and the John Deere World Headquarters. I like to visit the pavilion because you learn a lot, there's lots of equipment on display, and they let you climb up into the cabs. The John Deere Collectors Center has lots of John Deere vintage tractors on display. If you need information for restoring your old Pop and John, this is the place where you'll find it. But the big draw at the Two-Cylinder Expo is the exhibit of beautifully restored John Deere tractors, implements, and construction machines. Collectors and restoration experts gather from all over the country to show off their prized possessions and swap stories. Collectors look for variations. A variation is when they change something on the same model. This 1962 Mack tractor transport truck is loaded with 5 variations of the John Deere 320 tractor. Don't get me talking about variations. I could go on all day. Here's one of the tractors that got John Deere started in the tractor business. The Waterloo Boy from 1918. For brute strength and moving dirt, this beautifully restored Model 840 tractor and Model 400 elevating scraper are hard to beat. The 840 holds 32 gallons of fuel. That means it can work a long time without refueling. The 840-400 combination is 33 feet long and weighs 23,400 pounds. With its chain-driven paddles, the 400 scraper can load 7.5 cubic yards of dirt in just 45 seconds. The 840 was introduced in 1960 and looked like it meant business. It was big, powerful, and the first John Deere industrial to come with headlights as standard equipment. It was even handsome in a rugged sort of way. Here's an interesting 630 made in 1959. It was the first restored two-cylinder tractor to sell for over $100,000. This streamlined John Deere AO from 1937 was designed to work in orchards. The added sheet metal protected both the tractor and the tree branches. There's so much to see, I could go on for hours, but I'd better stop. This is only a 40-minute show. So long from the two-cylinder. You've all made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Chances are the jelly was grape, and it came from a field like this. This big purple machine is a grape harvester. It's powered by a John Deere engine. John Deere engines power lots of different vehicles, buses, trucks, even boats. You only plant grapes once. Then you wait 3 years for the first crop to bloom. But after that, grapes just keep on blooming. This is Totsky Farms of Baroda, Michigan. The grape harvester, it's also known as a shaker or mechanical picker, or as the boys at Totski's call it, a grape shaker, works this way. As the shaker moves down the row, two shaker heads move back and forth together. This precise movement is strong enough to shake the grapes off the vine, yet gentle enough not to bruise the grape or squeeze out any juice. It's also important the grape shaker doesn't break the fruiting vine, because that's where next year's crop will come from. This Corvan grape shaker uses a bucket system. As the grapes are shaken off, they fall into a series of collection buckets, which are at the bottom of the shaker. These buckets are on a continuous chain and carry the grapes to the top of the machine, where they are dumped into a continuous belt. The belt carries the grapes past two cleaning fans, which blow off any leaves or dirt. After the grapes pass the fans, they fall into another continuous belt, which carries them out the side, where they drop into a grape box on a wagon being pulled alongside the grape shaker. The trick is to keep the grape shaker shaking, so it's up to Carlos and Mac to keep things moving smoothly. Both are driving John Deere 5520 tractors. After Mac's grape box is filled, he pulls away and heads over to the loading area. As Mac pulls away, Carlos moves in. Each grape box has a plastic liner and holds 1 ton or 2,000 pounds of grapes. While Carlos's box is being loaded, Mac is over at the loading area, where Bob, operating a John Deere 2955 tractor equipped with a front forklift, unloads Mac's full box and places it on a flatbed truck. Then Bob puts an empty grape box on Mac's wagon, and Mac hurries back to the grape shaker to replace Carlos, who's pulling away with another loaded grape box. This goes on all day long, or until all the grapes are harvested. And if Carlos, Mac, and Bob do their jobs, the grape shaker will never stop shaking. This long flatbed truck, which holds 22 grape boxes, takes the grapes to a processing plant in Lawton, Michigan, about 50 miles away. This is where they turn the grapes into juice and jelly. The leading grape producing states are California, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, and Washington. You can say the Totski farm is all green. They have 35 tractors, and all of them are John Deere. Most are new, but some go back to the 1960s and 70s. They even still use 3 two-cylinder tractors from the 1950s. The Totski farm works 1,000 acres of grapes, 4,000 acres each of corn and soybeans, and about 50 acres of rhubarb. Maybe we'll come back next summer to see how they harvest rhubarb. Meanwhile, I think I'll go make a sandwich. All this talk about grape jelly has made me hungry.
Grab a clean shirt and your overalls. The beans are ready and the corn is tall. A bite to eat and out the door. This is the day you've been working for. bringing in the crops and baling hay, working hard in the fields both night and day. Wake up world, it's finally here. Put on your work boots and start the John Deere. No time to eat, no time to sleep, 'cause time is precious and talk is cheap. Gotta get to work, it's harvest time, and I know I can't afford to get behind. Somewhere there's a farmer who's working late to put something good on your dinner plate. Ain't no better job in the hemisphere, so put on your work boots and start the John Deere. Wheat and corn and grapes and beans, tractors and trucks and big machines, working outside underneath the sun. Nothing feels better than a job well done. You won't see me bragging or taking a bow, just give me sunshine and a sturdy plow. And when harvest time is finally here, I'll put on my work boots and start the John Deere. Put on my work boots and start the John Deere. Put on my work boots and start the John Deere.
Otto, I told you the fairgrounds had to be cleared by 5 o'clock. That means you have 5 minutes to get all these tractors loaded. Now make it snappy.
Oh no!
Okay, time for our reel or toy game. I'll show you a tractor. You tell me if it's real or toy. Okay, ready, set, go! The first two were real. All the rest were toys. How'd you do? When the time is right for harvest, farmers have to move quickly to bring in the crop and get it to market. This means working around the clock, morning, noon, and night. Well, it's time to say goodnight. I have to brush my teeth. Hope you enjoyed the show. See you next time in All About John Deere, Part 3. Bye for now. Don't miss All About John Deere Part 3. See more exciting John Deere action. John Deere's newest and largest tractors. More Johnny Poppers, front-end loaders, more fun with Otto, and new songs by James Coffey. For more information, call 800-892-2822 or visit us on the web at tmbv.com.
You can visit John Deere on the web at www.johndeere.com.
Everyone knows that yellow and green Watch 'em run smart, run fast, run lean, helping us live the American dream, never resting till the job is done. Plowing a field or hauling stone, no better machines in the world are known. On the farm, at work, at home, the very best ton for ton. John Deere made a better plow. John Deere, name that's famous now. John Deere, I'll tell you how. It's all about John Deere. John Deere, sing it strong and loud. John Deere stands out from the crowd. John Deere makes America proud. It's all about John Deere. Quality and trust no one can deny. Name as American as apple pie. Celebrated as the 4th of July for over 100 years. Changing the course of history, still #1 in the industry. Far and wide, everybody agrees, nothing runs like a Deere. John Deere made a better plow. John Deere, name that's famous now. John Deere, I'll tell you how. It's all about John Deere. John Deere, sing it strong and loud. John Deere stands out from the crowd. John Deere makes America proud. It's all about John Deere.